What's going on, Widgets here? Welcome back to another episode of South Stand Stories. This series, of course, we go through everything happening in and around the world of Leeds United. And we have a little talk about it. And that is much better from Leeds United. A much better performance. A much better showing at the office. And we take Sheffield Wednesday to the cleaners 2-0. And today, we're sat here for the first time saying that it could have been a lot more. We really could have taken them 3, 4, potentially 5 goals to the good. I would have liked Joseph to score. I think he really deserved it. He was really good today, and very unfortunate not to get his goal. He had a couple of big chances where the ball just whistled over the crossbar, but I genuinely thought he was very good today. Very well served for a goal. Gutted for him not to get one. I thought Aaronson, Aaronson was great. I mean, there's no better place to start than with Brenden Aaronson. He started off the game with a fantastic goal. He picks the ball up at right back, plays the ball out to DJ, who flicks the ball on to Nonto, or whether it was flicked on from Aaronson to DJ. Yeah, he flicked it onto Nonto. Nonto drove forward, played the ball into Joseph, who cut the ball back to Aaronson. And it was just such a cool, calm, collected finish. And I thought that's exactly what we missed. Having Brenden Aaronson in that number 10 role is exactly what we missed at Leeds United, because he was able to pick the ball up well. His decision-making was great in behind. He was laying the ball off quickly. He looked like he was sharp. His movement was there. In terms of the defence splitting through balls, I thought he definitely offered us an improvement there over Joel Perreault, and things just seemed to move a lot quicker. When we had Joel Perreault in the 10, things were sticking too much. It was kind of slowing down the way we played. We didn't look that great counter-attacking wise, but with a front four today of Joseph, Nonto, James and Aaronson, it was so quick on the counter-attack. The movement was there, the 1-2s, the triangles. It just seemed like there was a real great synergy about our attack today. And when we did set off on the counter-attack, Sheffield Wednesday really struggled to keep up with us. And I got to give great plaudits to all 4 of those players, especially even Nonto, who a lot of people questioned his mentality and whether he wants to be there. You can see it when Leeds score. He looks very happy, smiling and celebrating. Does not look like the face of a man who's sulking and wants to leave. Whether he still does behind the scenes, obviously that is still up for debate. But on Brenden Aaronson, before we do change topics from that, I have to say, really underrated asset for Leeds United. Because if you look at the way he played early on the first 4 or 5 games in the Premier League campaign, there's a serious player in there. And there's a reason we signed him for £25 million. I know it didn't quite kick on at Union Berlin. I know that he's kind of dipped in form. His back end of his Premier League campaign at Leeds was very poor. But we've seen it with Rutter. He didn't look great for Leeds in the back end of our last Premier League campaign. Came down into the Championship and he looked a different player. And with the calibre of players that he's going to be up against in the Championship, Brenden Aaronson really should be a class above a lot of these guys, and I think you're seeing it that he really could be. And in that number 10 role, I still want us to invest. Don't get me wrong, I still want us to invest in the number 10, but I think you can really see that he could be a vital asset for Leeds in that position there. Obviously, he's switched out onto the right-hand side quite a bit as well, which was good. You either had Joseph drifting inside centrally and a bit deeper and allowing Aaronson to overlap on the right. We saw Dan James as well feature a little bit in the central midfield position, which could actually be very interesting. If you see Leeds are linked with Roland Salai, he's someone who plays quite a lot on the right-hand side of the pitch, but also has played a little bit in second striker and in the attacking midfield role. So if you had Brenden Aaronson in the number 10, who likes to drift out to the right-hand side a bit, you could have Salai kind of going into that central attacking midfield role and swapping with him and just really confusing defenders. I think that's something that could work really well for Leeds. So I would love to see that potentially if that move does come to fruition. But otherwise, as I said, Brenden Aaronson, a real asset for Leeds United and someone that I think could be very vital for us going forward. Now, Dan James, who I just touched on, going to be hard to displace out of the squad again. We saw it last year with Nonto struggling to get game time, and Dan James, well, I thought today very much back to the Dan James of old. Very impressive performance from Dan James, in my opinion. His goal was very well taken. It was a beautiful run. It was a fantastic ball by Joseph. Again, this is what I'm saying about Joseph's performance. Picks the ball up from deep, looks up, and it's a perfectly weighted pass to Nonto. Fantastic. And Sorry, to Dan James, not to Nonto. And the way he managed to calmly, coolly dink that over the keeper. Would you like some salt with those chips, baby? It was a phenomenal dink. I know it was a bit of a weird looking one. He kind of Panenka'd it. He didn't go too high up. But listen, I'm calling that a Panenka. Whether you are or you're not, I'm calling that the dink of the century, the dink of the season so far. And aside from that, I thought he was running the channels well. He looked a lot better in terms of his attacking output compared to last week when we saw him and he was going sideways and he was backwards and he was a bit hesitant. Fark clearly gave him a bit more assertiveness to go forward today. And you really saw that he was a real bumble of energy down that right-hand side. And in my contention for the top few players of the match, I'd have to put him up there with Joseph and Aaronson for me. Those three were up there. I thought Jayden Bogle was also very, very good today. Jayden Bogle's been criticised a lot defensively for Leeds and committing too far forward and not being good enough defensively. There was a few times in the first half where Sheffield Wednesday were targeting that left-hand side, our right-hand side of the pitch, and Jayden Bogle was standing up his man every single time. He made 3 or 4 brilliant blocks in that transitional play there and really helped Leeds defensively in that first half. I thought he was phenomenal. And as I said, I thought the link up with him and Dan James on the right-hand side was really, really effective for us. And they gave Mateo Joseph the man of the match, but I have to say Dan James for me was not far behind because today it was really back to the Dan James of old. He looked hungry. He looked determined to do something. And listen, his energy and his pacing behind can never be understated. Phenomenal stuff down the right-hand side. Firpo, not his busiest game down the left-hand side, but I don't think he put too much of a foot wrong. Again, Nonto, I thought he was good. I know people might criticize him because he didn't score. You'd expect him to get himself on the score sheet, perhaps. Instead, got himself booked. Sorry for that. But I thought Nonto was very good as well. I thought he was very well served for his goal. And the link-up play of everyone up front was very good. I thought Ethan Ampadu, who's come under a lot of criticism today, looked sharper. He looked better on the ball. He looked more convincing. He wasn't quite dropping so deep today. He was kind of occupying a little bit further or occupying a position a little bit higher up the field. And he was getting involved more. Ilya Gruev as well, I didn't think put too much of a foot wrong. Overall, I thought it was a very calm, controlled, measured performance. Now, what I don't want is for the club to look at this and say, listen, Leeds, comfortable win today. We don't need to strengthen in the transfer market so much. I still want us to go big in the transfer market. I still think we need 3 or 4 top quality players there. Overall, the squad is a lot weaker than it was last year. And a couple of injuries, you would really, really see that there's big problems in that team. So I think we do need to go big in the transfer market. I think we've got exciting players coming through. I think Joseph is developing very well. I think there's a lot of exciting things to look forward to, but we do still need to strengthen big time in the transfer market, and we can't let this paper over some cracks that are definitely there. But let me know what you guys think anyway down in the comment section down below. Do you agree, disagree, feel good, bad, or otherwise? Please let me know what you think about the performance down in the comment section down below. For now, guys, I will see you very, very soon. Au revoir, my brothers and my sisters.